If you thought billionaires had it easy, you want to think again. Recent events have made it very clear to us that even the world's riches can be brought down overnight. Don't believe us? Well, see for yourself. Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of one of the biggest companies, and the man who was once known as one of the youngest rich people, recently saw a decline in his vast fortune. We will be talking about how Mark Zuckerberg lost over $70 billion and has fallen down to being the 20th rich person. Sure, it doesn't look bad if you look at his ranking, but oh boy, it is the biggest loss we have ever seen. But before we start, if you're new to this channel, welcome to 1%. Here we talk about facts and only facts, so if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, as it helps us with the algorithm. Now without further ado, let's jump into it. The downfall of Mark Zuckerberg. The CEO of Facebook parent Meta, Mark Zuckerberg has fallen all the way to being the 20th rich person. His total net worth is now at $55.3 billion, after having a loss of $70.2 billion in the past year due to the huge decline in Meta's share price. If you have been living under a rock and don't know anything about him, which is likely impossible, Mark Zuckerberg was born on the 15th of May, 1984. He is the CEO of Facebook and the parent company Meta. Mark has seen many ups and downs throughout his life, most of them happening after the rebranding in the past year. He is married to the philanthropist Priscilla Shan, and he has two daughters amidst the whole situation. Mark announced that his third child is apparently on the way, as Priscilla is pregnant with a baby girl, but we will talk about it more in the end. Now, we have always known that Meta was a big step and probably extremely risky, and surely Mark knew that too. But the decline goes to show that sometimes things take a turn to the worst, whether you plan for it or not. But let's not put this all on Mark Zuckerberg, because billionaires Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, and Bill Gates, founder of Microsoft, also a big decline in their finances. Still though, that doesn't even come close to what Mark Zuckerberg lost. Elon lost around $2.5 billion, Bezos lost around $44.4 billion, and Bill Gates lost $26.2 billion. This goes to show that even their vast fortune is not as stable as you may think, especially now since the tech stock prices have suffered significantly due to the economical crisis. And the wealth of many on the top list is tied to their huge stakes in their respective companies. Mark Zuckerberg, however, had it worse than he was standing at $140 billion in September of 2021, something we are sure he was very proud of. But since then, that has plummeted down to more than half of it. At that time, he probably thought his wealth was stable enough to bring something innovative to this world, and many agreed that Meta looked like the next big thing. But that's when the decline started to happen. Now, how did he lose that fortune? In February of 2022, Meta suffered from a great misfortune as its stocks plunged almost 23%. It was the result of an unexpected spending on Metaverse that affected the fourth quarter profit. Additionally, the revenue outlook of the rivalry with TikTok was almost lower than they expected. Meta has tried to compete with TikTok by adding their own short clips as reels on many of their services, including Instagram, Facebook. What they didn't expect was that many big influencers would not like the changes they added to these platforms. Eventually, Meta reported its first ever quarterly decline in revenue. And that should have already been a red flag. But since it takes time for these things to grow, the warning was not taken seriously. We know now where that took them. He also suffered some other controversy. There was another controversy that fueled the decline for Meta. It is not exactly pretty. Many sources linked that Instagram links to depression and eating disorder in teenage girls. And while that argument is debatable, it hurts the brand's reputation vastly. Meta's net income dropped by 36% in the second quarter that time. Luckily, Mark Zuckerberg is not affected. Even in the midst of the disaster, he's not affected. Well, we're not talking financially because that boat is sinking faster than anyone anticipated. But we are talking about his mental state. Zuckerberg witnessed these as they were happening. And on his first appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience in August, he admitted that he thought Metaverse would be a lot healthier for people, and that my goal for these next set of platforms, they were going to be more immersive, and hopefully they'll be more useful. But I don't necessarily want people to spend more time with computers. I just want the time that people spend with their screens to be better. While that was an ambitious talk, it seems many people are still unable to understand his good intent. There was also a statement by Mark: the metaverse business for us isn't really going to be a meaningful contributor to the business until at a minimum much time later this decade. And probably realistically, this decade is going to be about setting the foundation for that. 2030 is really when it's going to contribute a lot to the profits of this company. We can see that while they did anticipate the slow progress in metaverse, they somehow failed to consider the possibility of failure. But it's still too early to call it a failure, as Mark is still the 20th richest person, and he has a lot of passion for this project. If someone can turn this around, it will have to be him. This isn't his first time. Mark Zuckerberg is no stranger to these mishaps. While this situation is way bigger in scale, he did lose $6 billion almost a year ago, and that made the headlines at that time. A sell-off sent the Facebook stocks to fall 4.9%, which added to drop to 15 since the months before that. In the matter of weeks, Mark had lost almost $20 billion, and that was a giant sign for Mark to play safe and go along with Meta more cautiously. But with all the reception it received after that, it was bound to happen. The fall at that time was certainly steep, but not steeper than this. It will surely affect his approach, and the future of Meta is honestly hanging by a thread. The next few years should be critical for its growth, but alas, he gave some good news among the disaster. Mark has a lot going on, and even though most of it is unpleasant, he received some good news after, and made it publicly very recently. He posted on Instagram a photo with his wife and said, "Lots of love, happy to share that Max and August are getting a new baby sister next year." So yeah, the couple is expecting their third child. And although the circumstances are not well, it's good to hear that Mark is happy with something. They have 2 children named August and Maxima, aged 5 and 6 respectively. The announcement of the pregnancy was made less than a day after Bloomberg reported his financial loss. He already has a lot set in properties and other ventures that will be there for his kids to inherit. In addition, he's still rich and has many opportunities to grow again. While it would be a bumpy ride, we believe Mark won't give up as usual. That's all for this video. If you liked it, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. In the meantime, you can watch a video on the billionaire lifestyle of Mark Zuckerberg, which includes information on his properties, luxurious life, or you can check the last video on King Charles III, the eldest son of Queen Elizabeth II.